Welcome back to Adventure Freaks. I'm Ray, and today we're doing something a little bit different. Normally on this channel, we talk about the best countries to move to, the most affordable places, the easiest residencies, countries where the culture feels welcoming and the lifestyle just works. But over the past couple of years, some places have changed. There are 5 countries that used to check all the boxes. The affordability was refreshing. The people were welcoming, residency felt obtainable for normal retirees, not just high net worth individuals. So today I want to talk honestly about the 5 countries that many people are still considering for 2026. But based on what we're seeing and hearing on the ground, you may want to reconsider. In these countries, costs are up, requirements are tighter, locals in some areas are pushing back, and in some places the overall vibe has changed in a way that's hard to ignore. Now, this is not about bashing any country. I love all 5 of these places. They are truly remarkable in so many ways. This video comes from respect, not criticism, but if you're thinking about making an international move in 2026, you need current, realistic information, not outdated advice, and that's why we're making this video. And make sure to stick around until the end because one of my all-time favorite countries has become one that I personally have a hard time recommending these days. And you're going to want to hear why. All right, now let's dive in. Hi, can Ernest and I ask you a favor? If you find our content helpful, please hit that subscribe and like button. It truly helps us grow, and it makes Ernest happy. First country up is Colombia. In Colombia, specifically Medellin, has been one of the hottest retirement spots for the past decade. A few years ago, Medellin was a dream: affordable living, a pleasant climate year-round, and vibrant communities full of culture and creativity. Expats could live very comfortably without breaking the bank, but the reality now is very different. It's changed. In several neighborhoods, prices have nearly doubled in the past 5 years. Apartments that were once easily affordable for retirees are now far more expensive, pushing out local residents. And it's not just about cost. Tensions are rising. There have been protests in Medellin targeting expats in certain areas as locals express frustration at being priced out of their own communities. Some retirees who came expecting stability have left quietly because the environment has become a little edgy. Visa renewals are another issue. Colombia has been making it increasingly difficult for retirees to renew their visas year after year. That uncertainty can make anyone uneasy, especially if you're planning to settle long term. And then there's healthcare. One of the biggest reasons retirees move abroad is affordable, high-quality medical care, and Colombia has long been known for exactly that. It's one of the reasons so many retirees chose to move here. But now, retirees in Colombia can no longer access the public healthcare system. This is a recent change, and it's a major blow that many people did not see coming. For retirees who plan their move around healthcare affordability, this represents a serious, unexpected shift. Take Randy, an expat I've interviewed 4 times about living in Colombia. He and his wife moved there after falling in love with the culture, the food, and the people. To qualify for residency, Randy applied for the property owner investor visa and purchased a home for approximately $100,000, which met the legal requirement at the time. He did everything by the book. The problem came when it was time to renew. Colombia ties the property owner visa to a government minimum wage benchmark, and when that benchmark increased, the required property value increased with it to about $110,000. Randy's house didn't appreciate enough to meet the new threshold. There was no grandfather clause, and immigration wouldn't allow him to add money to make up the difference. So even though Randy qualified when he bought the property, and even though he'd been living there legally, his visa was denied at renewal. Now, these are the kind of people that every country wants. People that love your country, love your culture. They both learn the language. They love the Colombian people, but are being forced out. That's the reality in Colombia. A property that qualifies you for an investor visa today may not qualify you when it's time to renew. The rules can change, and if they do, you're out of luck. Colombia still has beauty, culture, charm, but in 2026 it's less predictable, more expensive, and far less straightforward for retirees than it was even a few years ago. Not sure which country is the best fit for your move abroad? The Ideal Destination Finder takes the guesswork out of the process. It's a customized 22-question assessment that reveals your top 3 destinations based on your lifestyle, priorities, and budget. Instead of spending months researching and second-guessing, you'll get a clear, personalized shortlist to guide your next step abroad. And it could save you thousands by avoiding the wrong move. You can get started now at adventurefreaksss.com. Just scroll down a little bit and you'll see the Ideal Destination Finder on the left. Just click it and start the assessment. I also put the link in the description, or you can click the QR code above. Now let's get back to the video. Next up on our list is Italy. Italy is a country that almost everyone dreams about. The food, the countryside, the history, and the lifestyle make it a classic retirement fantasy. And for many years, it was. Retirees could qualify for an elective residency visa with a modest passive income, and life there felt attainable and enriching. But in the past few years, things have shifted a bit. Financial requirements for residency have jumped from around $42,000 per year for a couple to roughly $70,000. That alone puts Italy out of reach for many retirees living on pensions or fixed income. Beyond the numbers, the vibe on the ground has changed. When I visited Italy this past summer, I noticed graffiti on walls and signs saying "Go home, tourist." In restaurants and hotels, workers looked tired and less enthusiastic, simply burned out from constant demand. The energy that used to make these towns feel welcoming is less visible now. Over-tourism is a real issue in many cities. Short-term rentals and Airbnb-style properties have surged, driving up housing costs and forcing some locals to relocate. Protests against tourists and foreigners moving in have occurred in several towns, reflecting rising frustration with the high cost of living and the impact of tourism on local communities. In neighborhoods that once felt welcoming, locals are stretched thin. Daily life for residents has become more expensive, and that tension is noticeable. Italy is still beautiful, still magical, and the culture, food, and history haven't changed. But the accessibility and warmth retirees once enjoyed has eroded in some areas. So while Italy remains a bucket list destination, retirees in 2026 need to be aware that costs are higher, residency is harder to obtain, and the cultural environment can feel less inviting than in the past. Planning to live there now means factoring in these changes and approaching it with a clear understanding of the realities on the ground. Next up on our list is Malaysia. Malaysia has long been seen as a potential retirement destination with its tropical scenery, affordable living in certain areas, and a reputation for welcoming foreigners. For years, people assumed retirees could qualify for long-term residency based on income or savings, making it feel accessible. But the reality in 2026 is very different. Malaysia's main long-stay option, the Malaysia My Second Home program, or MM2H, is effectively a residence by investment program. You can't simply qualify based on pension or income or savings. Instead, applicants are required to purchase property that meets specific price thresholds. And in most cases, that means a significant upfront investment that many just can't afford. The cheapest qualifying properties are often on islands that are under redevelopment or in areas with limited infrastructure. Prices there start at around $135,000 to $140,000. And in more desirable areas, properties can easily reach $250,000. For most retirees, this is a huge commitment to make before even moving in, before knowing whether the community, lifestyle, or amenities suit them. Think about it. Most retirees want to live somewhere first, test out the lifestyle, and then decide whether to invest in property. Malaysia's requirement flips that approach. You must spend a large sum upfront just to gain residency, with no ability to qualify through income alone. This isn't an accidental obstacle. It's a clear government policy designed to attract a specific demographic, people with significant capital who can afford to spend $200,000 or more on a property just to live in a country. Ordinary retirees with modest to good pensions simply do not qualify under these conditions, making it extremely difficult for most people to move there affordably. So while Malaysia still offers beautiful scenery, rich culture, vibrant cities, the practical reality is that retirees planning to move in 26 face a serious barrier. Without substantial financial resources for a property purchase, Malaysia is simply not accessible, and the program isn't designed for the majority of retirees who want a lower-cost, flexible retirement abroad. In short, Malaysia is no longer a friendly option for retirees relying on a pension or modest savings. You can still enjoy the country as a visitor, but living there long-term under the current program requires significant wealth. That makes it a difficult recommendation for anyone looking for a straightforward retirement path. Next country up is Spain. Spain has long been a dream destination for retirees. The sunshine, the food, the relaxed lifestyle, and the culture make it incredibly appealing. Cities like Barcelona, Malaga, and Valencia have drawn people from around the world, creating vibrant expat communities alongside locals. But in 2026, the experience for newcomers is very different. In many of these popular neighborhoods, locals are frustrated and feel their country is being overtaken by tourism and expats. Frustration has led to visible protests in multiple cities, including Barcelona, Malaga, and Valencia, which are hotbeds for both tourists and expats alike. These protests have sometimes included dramatic actions. Tourists have been squirted with water guns or otherwise confronted as part of symbolic demonstrations. Residents are sending a clear message that neighborhoods are no longer just welcoming to visitors. They are communities under strain from rising rents, short-term rentals, and the sheer volume of foreigners moving in. As a result, the feeling of being welcomed into your new home has eroded in many areas of Spain. Restaurants, shops, and neighborhoods that once greeted newcomers warmly now show signs of local frustration. For retirees looking to settle into a country long-term, this is a real issue. Feeling unwelcome in the community you choose to live in is a deal breaker for many people, including myself. Even though Spain still offers incredible scenery, rich culture, and a vibrant lifestyle, the social atmosphere in key expat hotspots has changed. The combination of over-tourism, housing pressures, and local pushback makes moving there in 2026 a very different experience from what it once was. If you're considering Spain for retirement, it's crucial to recognize that being in a place where locals are frustrated or unwelcoming can have a big impact on your quality of life. The country itself hasn't lost its charm, but the dynamics in these popular neighborhoods have shifted, enough that newcomers might feel less at home than they expect. For many retirees, that change is enough to reconsider. Spain remains beautiful and culturally rich, but in the areas most expats are drawn to, the social welcome has cooled. And that is a serious factor to weigh before deciding to move there. And finally, we've arrived at one of my favorite countries, but lately I've had a hard time recommending it, and it is Mexico. Mexico has long been a favorite for retirees seeking culture, sun, and a vibrant lifestyle. Cities like Mexico City, Puerto Vallarta, and San Miguel de Allende drew expats looking for affordable living and lively communities. But in 2026, the experience for newcomers is very different. In neighborhoods like La Condesa or Roma Norte in Mexico City, locals are frustrated. Many feel their communities are being overtaken by foreign residents, and apartment costs have nearly doubled in just a few years. Spanish is often no longer the dominant language on the streets, and longtime residents have expressed clear frustration with the changes. These tensions have spilled over into protests. Locals have demonstrated against rising rents and the influx of foreign residents, sending a strong message that some neighborhoods are no longer as welcoming as they once were. For retirees hoping to settle into Mexico, feeling unwelcome in your own neighborhood is a serious concern. Adding to the challenge, retirees now face stricter financial requirements for long-term residency. A single retiree must show a monthly income of around $5,200 a month, and a couple needs $10,400 per month. That makes moving to Mexico much harder for anyone relying on a modest or even moderate pension. The combination of high costs, social tension, and strict income rules has shifted the retirement landscape in Mexico. Areas that were once accessible and friendly now feel crowded, expensive, and sometimes unwelcoming. While Mexico's culture, climate, and opportunities to live abroad remain incredible, the realities on the ground make it a very different experience than in the past. For 2026, these factors make Mexico our top do-not-move pick, a country where retirees need to think twice before committing to living there. So there you have it, 5 countries that remain popular dreams for retirees, but where realities of living there have shifted. Colombia, Italy, Malaysia, Spain, and Mexico now face hurdles that weren't as obvious a few years ago. Let us know in the comments what stood out to you the most. Are there any surprises? Or something you've personally experienced in these countries? I'd love to hear your thoughts to get the conversation going. And if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. It truly helps our channel and allows us to continue bringing content like this. Also, check out adventurefreaksss.com where you can access free resources to get started on your move abroad. And as always, thank you for viewing. I'm Ray with Adventure Freaks, showing you how to live better abroad.